Last class we have seen these single stage impulse generators. So as such, any single stage circuit has a limitation of voltage level, size, etc. will be huge. Theoretically, there is no limitation on making any single stage generator, but practically there are several limitations, such as due to huge size, even transportation, installation, making, all this will be difficult. So that is why high voltage circuits are made in multi-stage, so that these each stage components can be easily made and transported and then assembled at a workplace. So for that purpose, multi-stage generators are important for increasing the voltage levels, very high voltage levels. So
So,
these hmm,
sir, I had a doubt from previous lecture. Can I clear it right now?
hmm,
Yes, sir. That wave which you have formed, that wave which has alpha and beta. So,
hmm.
in that wave, I just wanted to ask that for that alpha exponential, the rising wave is related to both, or is it like only alpha for the first wave, and when it falls, then it's beta for the second one?
Alpha 1, alpha 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because in this circuit diagram which you have designed, in this circuit diagram, it's dependent completely on all the parameters. But suppose you have a simple wave where it's first increasing and then it's decreasing. So in that case, when you the waves are separated by two exponentials, or both the exponentials are influencing both the parts. That's my doubt. For example, when it's increasing, then alpha 1 and alpha 2 both are responsible for that increase, or only alpha 1 is responsible for that increase?
No, actually, you cannot suppress the other wave when one is happening. Both will be there. See, it is summation of these two. But actually, the nature of the wave in the front portion depends on this primarily. In the tail portion depends on this primarily.
Actually,
Because
sorry to disturb, sir. So I was asking this because in this case, which you have drawn the wave, you
hmm,
can see that you have made it on a circuit parameter assumption. But I'm just talking about a simple wave just like this. The first part is primarily dependent on alpha 1, and the second part is secondarily dependent on alpha 2. So that's what I was saying, that both are not really putting that much of exodus on each other. So I just wanted to clear that. So suppose if you have a numerical wave supposed to link a wave with this alpha 1 and alpha 2, can you do it like the first part of the wave with alpha 1 and the second part of the wave with alpha 2? For example, 5 time constants is the time period for the first like for the first part of rising. Can you say like this? Because in 5 time constant the wave rises from or falls from maximum to zero.
see, uh, actually, strictly speaking, both of the waves will be there in all the times. But if you see practically, see, this is the on this figure also it is exaggerated actually. This is the contribution of this wave in the first portion, first half. And while this is the contribution, magnitude contribution, this is the contribution of this wave during this time. So this is actually negligible compared to this one in the first half up to the peak. This dominates. This wave dominates. I am telling, because this magnitude, of course, here it is drawn in an exaggerated way. It can be like this. After all, it can be like this.
Actually, sir,
So,
yes, sir. I'm asking this because we had a question in our examination. So in that we had been given a wave where a point was given after the maximum, and the value of that point was given. So I just wanted to discuss the approach. Like the approach which I took was, I found the VP, the maximum voltage.
okay. Let us see exam. Let us not discuss the examination what you have done. See, the questions for engineers, for engineers, there is no single solution, Engineers means what? Engineers have to do approximation on the field. So there will be exponential curve. You cannot draw an exponential curve in practice. Means, practically as time t tends to infinity only, it should become 0. Am I correct or not? But exponentially, if you do something in practice, after certain time constants, 3 time constants or 5 time constants, you have to assume that it is almost 0. So this is what is engineering actually. So, and there is no unique way. You may assume something, somebody else may assume something. But how approximately you come up with a solution is important. That's what is engineering actually. Okay. So given a situation, suppose you have, you have some capacitors. You have here capacitors, resistors, and sphere gap, right? But
Yes,
it is possible for you to, suppose you have to build a small impulse generating circuit. So you cannot order specific capacitance unless you have, very high voltage lab you are going to build, and then you have, specific requirement. Based on that, you custom made samples you are ordering. That is a different story. But if you have to adjust with what is available in the market, some capacitor values are available, some resistors are available. Okay, but you need 1.3, 5, 4, 6, 8, 9. So ऐसा नहीं मिलेगा. You understand? So how best you can do in that given situation. So that is what, what steps you have done and how approximate you have come to the solution, that we will see. It's not a hard and fast way. Only this way you have to done, then only you have to do, then only you will be considered. It's not like that. Okay, don't worry about the exam. Now, just understand here, in this region, in the first half, of course, always both the waveforms will be there. But in the first half, this will be dominating. This means, this will be dominating. And after this, actually the practical magnitude of this becomes 0. Of course, exponential term will never become 0. Always some magnitude will be there. But it is negligible. This magnitude is negligible. Therefore, the waveform simply follows this wave at this envelope. That's what it is in practice. You have to understand that. So these are the waveforms we discussed last time. Now, there is a limitation of these single stage impulse generators. Therefore, multi-stage impulse generators are developed. Last time I asked you one question: how do we go for multi-stage? So let us discuss a multi-stage generator here. Before that, I would like to ask some questions here, just to give you some insight into the Marx generator, how it works and all. Suppose I have a resistor like this, and then a capacitor like this. Okay, then if I apply a DC voltage plus minus, this resistor is R1, this capacitor is C1. What will happen after a long time? What is the voltage distribution in the circuit?
So the capacitor voltage will be exponentially increasing and the resistance voltage will be exponentially decreasing. The resistance will be tending towards 0 and capacitance will be tending toward the maximum voltage V.
So that's what I asked. After a long time, what will happen?
Capacitance voltage will be V, capacitance will be open circuit.
So this is plus minus V, and this voltage is plus minus 0, right? And
yes.
I equals to 0. This is what the circuit will be after a long time. Long time means, after few time constants, this is the situation. Very small current will be going If you go on, measuring this one, it will take infinite time to really become zero. That is a different story, but it becomes almost zero after few time constants. So we assume that it is open. After few time constants, there is no current, and then the voltage of the capacitor is, full voltage. Now, if I have one more resistor here, this is R2. How would it behave?
So it would also have zero voltage across it at infinity time.
Then again capacitor voltage will be same.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So the capacitor voltage will be same. And suppose if I have one more capacitor like this. Sorry, this is a capacitor like this. This is C2. Then what will happen to C2? And what will happen to C1?
So if both the resistances are same, then the voltage would be equally divided. It will depend upon the ratio of the resistance. Like V by 2, if both the resistances are equal.
Can you revise your answer?
So I mean that the voltage would get equally distributed between C1 and C2. So the voltage would be V by 2 out on C1 and V by 2 on C2 also. Steady state, sir.
That's what I'm asking about steady state only.
It will be equal, sir.
Voltage will be equal, sir.
Yes, sir. It will be V only.
We only have the C1 and C2 both.
It will be V only. If this is V by 2, if C1 is V by 2, then voltage across R1 is also V by 2.
Yes, sir.
So, the never steady state will be reached. Steady state means capacitors open.
So actually, if steady state is reached, then both the capacitances are open. So the resistance is acting like a short circuit. So in that case, if so, it should be I'm getting the point. So is it V by 2 V, sir? So I thought it's V by 2 because it will equally distribute because both the capacitance will come in parallel and there's only a single voltage source.
V by 2 when the capacitor will be in series.
Parallel, how voltages will be distributed?
So voltage remains same in parallel, sir.
Parallel, yes, sir. It will be V by 2 when they will be
They
in
are not
series.
in series.
So series it will be reduced, but in parallel it remains same.
That's what, no?
Okay, sir, I got your point.
Under steady state, current is zero. You agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And voltages are, must be matching then. If current is zero, then the voltage across R1, R2, R1, R2, whatever resistors are there, all resistors voltage across them is zero. Then where should voltage go? Voltage should be across the capacitors. Okay, so simply the circuit becomes like this. There is zero voltage and a capacitor. Zero voltage, zero voltage across R1. And then similarly, this also. V. Therefore, this is also V. This is also V. Otherwise, if these are not V, then always there will be some voltage across the resistors. In that case, resistor cannot do anything. If it has voltage, then it must have current also, V by R. Simple relation.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, if you are assuming current is zero, so resistors should act as like open circuit, sir.
No. Potential you have to see, same potential lines you have to draw, right? Potential difference is there between this point and this point.
Okay, sir.
There is no potential difference, right? or otherwise, okay. Otherwise, don't draw. So you can keep open also, but you have to consider what voltage is there in the open. Okay. Now, all things you keep open only. I am telling you. But you have to consider what voltages are there. Then only you will get an idea. This is resistor. And this is capacitor again. This is resistor again. So here, this is R1. So the voltage is 0 volt. Do you agree?
Okay, sir. Yes.
Again here 0 volts, 0 volts, 0 volts. Now you don't know what is the voltages. This is, let us say V1, this is, let us say V2. And this is V, plus minus. Apply KVL around this. V is equal to V1 you will get. Similarly, you apply same way. Again V1 is equal to V2 you will get. Okay, but it is by blindly following the theory. But as an engineer, you are expected to know immediately the moment you see the circuit. What will happen? The voltages across the resistors must be 0 because current through them must be 0. Because all the capacitors become open, then there is no path. There is no path for the currents, right? So, therefore, this has to be followed. This is one thing. So now I can charge any number of capacitors to the same voltage V by connecting like this. Any number of capacitors. Right? So this is how we can charge capacitors parallelly. Now, if there is a way to multiply the voltage, is there a way? Why should I use these resistors? I can directly I can charge them, right?
So to control the charging time.
Charging time will be quick only. If I don't have a resistor,
Yes, sir.
charging time is very quick. Immediately I can do my work. Just
Yes, sir.
switch on and then enjoy. What will happen if I connect a voltage source to a capacitor?
Sir, ideally it will charge instantly. So ideally it will charge instantly.
Instantly, right?
Yes.
Impulse, sir, impulse.
But huge peak impulse current will be theoretically. The height of the impulse means current pulse is theoretically infinite, right?
Yes.
Peak will be theoretically infinite actually. Suddenly, if you switch on. Okay, of course, practically it is a huge magnitude of very short duration pulse. Duration is very short. Pulse duration is very short. This duration is very short, but this height is huge. So that's why we avoid this.
Sir, if we add repeatedly these spikes, so to somehow
Huh?
providing a repeated spike.
Amplitude is infinity for that.
Repeated spike means? Why repeated spike? Why are you getting repeated spike?
Oh, sir, I meant like if we provide repeated spikes.
From where? Input.
Yes, sir. Like,
Spike means voltage spike.
yes, sir.
Why? Why do you want to give a repeated voltage spikes there?
Sir, to provide impulse, continuous impulses.
No. Impulse waveform, the basic philosophy, whatever we have done, is that only. We are not going to change this philosophy. This philosophy, as per this philosophy, this capacitor is charged to a particular voltage at which this spark breaks the gap, and then there will be a connection. During the connection, it will charge like this. Of course, some current goes like this also. But after getting charged, again this capacitor discharges like this. So this is how actually, of course, some current goes like this also. So now basically this is the philosophy. So this philosophy only we will apply. Same philosophy we will apply here also for Marx generator also. Now I am considering how to charge the capacitor and how to multiply the number of stages. So while charging, what I wish to do is I will charge some number of capacitors in series like this. Okay, all of them, but this should be DC source only, not a pulse source. But whenever there is no resistance and immediately you switch on this DC source and then charge these capacitors. If there are no resistors, then huge impulse current will go to all the capacitors. That's why we avoid and then have these resistors. And we also need resistors for some other purpose, for connecting them in parallel. If the capacitors in series, if the capacitors are rigidly connected like this, directly connected like this, you do not have any other option to connect them in series again other than breaking this. You have to break this, right? Then only you can connect them in series like this. So the voltage will get multiplied. So that's how the multiplication is done here. So first we will charge them in parallel. This is the philosophy, basic philosophy. Charge in parallel, then connect in series. So this is the philosophy by which we multiply the voltage, input voltage. And then once we connect them in series, the voltage, if there are n stages, that gets multiplied by n into V is the voltage of input capacitor. So this is how we wish to do actually. So how it will happen? Now suppose, escape. One more question. Now, this capacitor is like this. There is a resistor. There is another resistor like this. Another capacitor is like this. Now this is charged to plus minus V. This is also charged to plus minus V. The charging I am not discussing. Okay. Now, if I have a switch here, and suppose this capacitor is at grounded, and this capacitor is my output. Okay, somehow I charged these two capacitors to plus minus V like this. Now, if I close this switch, what will happen to the voltage V0 here?
It will be 2V, sir.
Everyone agrees? Initially, what is the, before switch is closed, what is the voltage?
V only, sir. It will be V.
It will be V only.
Yes, sir.
But if I close the switch,
So the
suddenly,
capacitors will be in series and the voltage will add.
yeah, these two capacitors will be in series like this. This is the series path. Somebody may question how it will change like that, because in that case, what will happen to these resistors? Voltage across them will remain same.
Sir, actually the lower resistance voltage will be V, where plus is on the right side, and the upper resistance there won't be happening anything because it is directly connected to output. Because the initial voltage when the switch is closed, the voltage appears across the lower resistance. So it's like plus minus V, and because that V and this V gets added on the resistor to form 2V on the output.
Okay. So, if there are no resistors, this kind of business cannot happen. That is what one thing I want to say. Why the resistors are used? So I could have simply parallelly connect all the capacitors and charge them. But I cannot connect them in series without the help of these resistors. Now what is happening? The moment I close the switch, before that the voltage across this resistor, say R2, this R1, both the resistors, before closing the switch, the voltage is 0.
Yes, sir.
There is no voltage across them because they have been charged. Both capacitors are equal voltage, so there is no voltage across them. But immediately after closing, the resistor voltage, this resistor voltage is this is plus, this is minus, this is V. R2 voltage is V. What about R1?
It will also be V.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
also V.
Yes, sir.
So suddenly the voltage across these resistors will appear. So then will it remain V0 forever? V0 is 2V forever?
No, sir. There will be circulating current in the loops, which will result in the loss of charge, and the voltage 2V0 will decrease.
Yeah. So now
Leakage of
V
capacitance.
comes in parallel with R2. This V comes in parallel with R1. So therefore, depending on their time constants, there will be continuous discharge, and over a period of time, it will decay, and all energy will be dissipated. Total voltage of the capacitors, each capacitor will have only 0 voltage after some time. So this is, since our impulse wave is a quick wave, this is 1.2 microseconds by 50 microseconds, something like that, or 250 microseconds by 2500 microseconds. We can design the R1 R2 values in such a way that this lasts for longer. The time constant of this circuit is longer. So this is CR2, C1 R2 or C2 R1 will be, you can choose it larger than our required times. So this is the basic philosophy actually, by which we apply the voltages and all, and make the get the impulse wave. Now this is the Marx circuit, Marx impulse generator, named after Marx. So the scientist who invented this one. This is actually multi-stage, 6-stage impulse generator. So now you see here basically how it functions and all. Let us see. Now this is minus V. Here minus V is applied and this point is grounded. Instead of switches, we are using sphere gaps here. Sphere gaps, they can be, the gap distance can be adjusted. This gap distance can be adjusted remotely using a motorized mechanism in order to break at a given voltage, at a set voltage, whatever it is, that is. So now when minus V, this DC source, negative DC source is connected to this. Suppose all sphere gaps, they have not switched on. Switched on means they will switch on only after some time when the charging reaches adequate and then the gap distance is less, then only these switches will be on. Let us consider the situation before switch is on. Now let us see what is the voltage of each capacitor. So these capacitors please don't consider. The C dash, the C3 triple dash, and the C dash. These dotted ones are not real capacitors. These are all not real capacitors. Please ignore them. Not there. They are not real capacitors. This is a study. It is given here. So this also there is no real capacitor. This all dotted ones are simply for some explanation that we will do in the next class. But here only solid lines indicate our actual capacitors. Now considering the solid lines, now let us explain let us see what is the voltage attained by each of the capacitors. So what will be the voltage of C1 dash? After a long time, say, I connected minus V here and this point is grounded. What is the voltage of C1 dash?
Minus V.
You just tell me which there is A and H terminals.
So
Which
H will be
terminal is
positive and
terminal
A
is
will,
negative. What is the voltage?
so H will be positive and A will be negative.
So H will be positive, A will be negative, and voltage is V. So this is V. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Then C1 dash, again, this is C1 dash.
I think I will be positive and B will be negative.
Negative. So it will be V again.
Yeah, because simply they are connected through the resistors,
Yes,
The
sir.
first one, the first capacitor, please those who have not followed, first capacitor, this terminal A become this terminal only, simply, input terminal. Because this is connected through a resistor, this resistor. And after some time the resistor will be simply, there will be no current through it and the voltage across the resistor will be 0 only. So in that case, these two terminals are same, the input terminal and A. Similarly, this G ground terminal is connected to H through R2 dash. So therefore, over a period of time, this H also becomes 0 potential. So like that, plus minus V is the charge on this. Similarly, this C1 dash, this capacitor is connected through again R2 dash here and R1 dash here. Therefore, the philosophy, whatever we have seen just now. So same way, this is plus, this is minus V. Similarly, this is also plus, this is also minus V. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
And this is also plus, this is also minus, this is V. Plus, minus, V.
Sir, the C1 dash at the second stage, it will take longer time, sir, because the path is A, B, I, H, and G. Am I correct?
What did you say?
Sir, Sir, I was asking whether the charging time for C1 dash at the second level would be more than at the first level, because the path I believe is A, B, and then I, then H, then G.
Charging time you are asking?
Yes, sir, because there are more resistors, I believe.
Yeah, time will be different.
Okay. Okay.
First, this first stage capacitor will charge faster, and
Yes.
other capacitors will start charge, after, some time.
Sir, is there a reason for it, sir? Why are we keeping different time?
No. We need these resistors just for isolation
Okay.
and circuit requirement. Circuit also you will see now how these R1, R dash and R2 dash will come into the original, single stage circuit. We have to compare this circuit with single stage circuit. Okay. Then this R dash, R2 dash will have some role there. So they are not simply used here. We can wait for some time. It's not a problem. See, we have to charge the capacitors to full voltage V.
Yes.
Wait for some time, automatically all capacitors will be charged to V.
Okay.
Okay. So now, these are the ways these capacitors are charged. See, so all capacitors are charged to plus minus V. Now, if all these capacitors, now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5, and this is 6. These all 6 capacitors can be connected in series if these sphere gaps are triggered. Just observe, am I correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
These are switches actually, sphere gaps actually. So the moment they are triggered, immediately all these capacitors will come in series. So net voltage immediately after that seen here is 6V. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Now you see after 6V is appears here, then you see the circuit. There is a resistor R1, there is a capacitor C2. Okay. And for all these capacitors now, whether R2 dash is also in parallel or not, all R2 dashes. What happened?
Sir, I didn't get the question actually, sir.
What is the role of R2 dash after triggering? Where it is? Can we draw in a circuit something like that? R2 dash is parallel with C1 dash or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
In all cases, R2 dash is parallel to C1 dash. In all cases,
Yes,
for
sir.
each capacitor. And R dash,
Yes, sir. R dash is
also parallel.
Also parallel, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, but from this top position, you can see from here. So this is how, this is 6V, right? This is 6V. From here, this R2 dashes will come in series actually. Like this, to ground. Okay. So effectively here there is no R dash in parallel with C1 dash. But here R dash is in parallel with R2 dash. Normally, the magnitude of R dash is chosen very, very high so that it can be neglected when it comes parallel to this one. So, effectively, this circuit can be drawn like this. After switch on of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is C1 dash. Each of them is C1 dash. This is R2 dash, R2 dash, R2 dash, like this. Okay, you just label them. And then there is R1 here. And then C1 is the load. This is the circuit. Do you agree? I have neglected R dash here because R dash magnitude is larger in compared to R2 dash.
Yes, sir. This seems fine.
Yeah. Now, assuming that all the capacitors and resistors are equal in magnitude, then the behavior can be even you can ignore these things without any problem, because this same amount of current will flow and the node potentials, of course, resistors will change with voltage and all, but we ignore that one. So then these potentials, even if you don't say anything also, the potentials will be divided equally, so they will be maintained. So therefore, this is a combination of all the capacitors, series combination of all the capacitors here. This is series combination of all the resistors here. So I can simply draw the equivalent circuit like this. This is for n capacitors in series. What is the capacitance?
C by N.
C1 dash by n. And then for n resistors in series, this is n R2 dash, and then this is R1, and this is load C2. This is exactly the circuit, one of the circuits we have discussed earlier. Which one? Which one? Among these, which one we have got now?
The wave shaping circuit.
Hmm?
The first one, sir. Wave shaping circuit.
First one.
Lightning impulse.
B1.
This circuit or this circuit? Which we got?
Sir, B.
So
This we
second
got.
one I'm saying, first one I mean the wave shaping circuit, and the second diagram, like the middle one diagram in this one.
What is wave shaping circuit? All are wave shape. This is also an impulse generator. This is also an impulse generator. Both circuits can be used for generating same type of waveform. This is just a combination, just different setup. That's it. Okay. In this, in both of them, wave shaping components are there. But these are the two types of circuits that are given here. So we are getting the second type of circuit, where this R2 is ahead of R1, before R1. But practically, R2 value is so high that R1, if it comes in series also, it doesn't matter. So both circuits can be used for generating the impulse wave, but in this configuration, we are getting this circuit. In which configuration? Just in the marked circuit, this configuration, we are getting this circuit. This means here R2 is there. So effectively, if you compare with that circuit, then R2 is NR2 dash, and C1 is C1 dash by N. So for single circuit, you can design the R1, R2 parameters, and for N stage circuit, you can design the parameters using these relations. Simply these relations, same type of waveform can be generated. Of course, if the size becomes huge, then there are stray effects, stray capacitances like this. Stray inductances will also be there. So some disturbance will be there, in the original waveform compared to single stage, a small circuit and that. So additional, modifications need to be done to meet the requirements. So this is about the functioning of a MOS generator. Any question here? See, simply using this circuit, what we are doing basically, charging the capacitors initially in parallel and then connecting them in series so that the voltage gets multiplied. That is our C1 voltage. So that is our C1 by N. So by doing this, actually we are losing the effective capacitance. C1 dash by N ho raha hai na. So and then this is plus minus 6 N times V. So we are getting N times V voltage here. So that voltage, that's how we are increasing the voltage level of impulse circuit. So are there any questions, or it is clear?
Clear.
Sir, like I was asking, sir, the previous class, sir, I was theorizing that there would be multiple C2s, and you said that there would be only one C2. Sir, previous
C2,
class.
no, here the C2 is including load, including voltage divider for measurement. So all these things. Okay, C2 is our load and measuring devices.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now you have to design C2, R1, R2, etc., or R2 dash and C1 dash, etc., based on the requirement of impulse generator, impulse wave, which wave we would like to generate or not.
Okay.
So R1, C2 can also be changed. If your load demands some additional capacitance, you have to use additional capacitance in parallel with the load. Because there are tolerances for the waves. We have to apply the waveform within that tolerances only. Otherwise, it is not accepted by the standards. That's not a standard testing.
Okay.
So, therefore, if required, we have to modify the resistors or capacitors suitably to obtain the standard impulse waveforms. Okay. So, yeah, we will continue in the next class then.